All right, guys, so we got an update in one of the Donald Trump investigations. Now, these have sort of been on the back burner because he launched his campaign and then DeSantis launched his campaign, and they've been going at it back and forth, and you tend to forget that he's got like 43 different investigations into him. But I think these updates are important enough to share with you. Proof that Trump shared Mar-a-Lago documents changes the game for Jack Smith indictment. So this is a Guardian reporter who originally reported this. Appearing on MSNBC's The Katie Fang Show, Guardian reporter Hugo Lowell claimed Donald Trump might have avoided being hit with violations of the Espionage Act if it had not been reported that he shared highly sensitive government documents with friends at his Mar-a-Lago resort. According to Lowell, who has been reporting that the documents may have been hidden from Trump lawyer Evan Corcoran, a new report that Trump left documents laying about and he might have shown them to others makes it more likely he'll face more severe charges if that is true. The Washington Post reported this week about how prosecutors seem to have evidence that Trump was showing highly sensitive documents to other people. That's really interesting because that's the kind of aggravating move that a prosecutor looks for when they're trying to prosecute Section 93E of Title 18, which is the Espionage Act. Quote, "There's two parts," he continued. "The first part is willful retention. Willful retention alone is very rarely charged. And I think in the case with the former president with prosecutors, that was the only thing they might consider not charging. Quote, but if they have evidence that Trump was showing people and they have the second part of that clause, which is willful transmission and dissemination, that changes the game entirely," he added. "That is the sort of thing that they would charge. That is really concrete evidence that Trump has a lot of problems." Now let's break this down here for a second. You guys know the different theories as to why Trump had those legal documents, right? One of the leading theories is just this idea that, look, he's a scatterbrain, and he's selfish, and he's narcissistic, and he just wanted to keep some of the documents, so he kept some of the documents. And, that's a little less nefarious. It's just more you file it under the sloppy category more than anything else. But there is a problem with that theory, and the problem with that theory is, why was he so hesitant? Why did he resist so much when it came to turning the documents over if that was why he took the documents, right? In a scenario like that, the second that the FBI comes to you and they say, "Hey, man, you got to give these up," you give them up. Because you don't want any further problems. You just give them up. He didn't do that. In fact, he lied. They were moving boxes when they shouldn't have been moving boxes. They said that was it. It wasn't it. There were all these problems, right? And so the other theory is he took it because he had a reason to take it. He had a reason to take the classified documents, and one of the things is Donald Trump could have been showing people, like, as in just boasting, "Hey, look at this stuff," right, to the other members of Mar-a-Lago, or flat out selling the information. So that leads to the next point. Raw story. Next stop for Jack Smith is Trump's financial ties to the Saudis. A report from the New York Times that investigators working for Special Counsel Jack Smith have issued a subpoena demanding information from the Trump Organization regarding his international business dealings led Salon columnist Heather Digby Parton to suggest Smith and his people should place their emphasis on financial ties to the ruling family in Saudi Arabia. According to the Times report, the subpoena drafted by the Office of the Special Counsel Jack Smith sought details on the Trump Organization's real estate licensing and development dealings in 7 countries: China, France, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, the United Arab Emirates, and Oman, according to people familiar with the matter. The subpoena sought the records for deals reached since 2017 when Mr. Trump was sworn in as president. Parton wrote an investigation is definitely warranted into his boosting of the Saudi Back to Live golf tour, which has converted the former president into a vocal cheerleader for the Saudis, despite their execrable, weird word, don't know how to pronounce that, human rights record. At least someone is finally taking a look at what exactly was going on while Trump was running his business out of the Oval Office, Parton wrote, adding that Trump's golf courses have been hurting since the PGA abandoned them due to his many controversies, making the former president ripe for the plucking. Although there is no direct appearance of deals during Trump's brief 4 years in office, there is likely much to look at since he lost his 2020 re-election with an even greater concern about his third presidential bid. If Trump were just retiring to his golf resorts and taking advantage of all the contacts he made while president, it might be reasonable just to let it go in the interest of never having to think about him again. But he's the clear frontrunner for the 2024 Republican nomination, and he's openly helping the Saudi regime sports watch its human rights record while taking unknown millions from it, the Salon columnist wrote before adding, "Let's hope that unlike Robert Mueller, who refused to exceed his mandate and look at Trump's finances, Jack Smith sees this for the blatant corruption that it is." So, news came out after Trump had launched his presidential campaign this time around, that he just penned a deal with the government of Oman. Says you run for president, after that pens a deal with the government of Oman. In no world is that not corrupt. In no world is that not corrupt. Because you're running to become president, you might have all the power that the presidency brings, and you're making a deal with the government of Oman in the process. Obviously, you're going to serve their interests, they're going to serve your interests, and look out for you personally and financially. That's unacceptable. We have the Jared Kushner angle. Took $2 billion from Saudi Arabia in a deal. And by the way, there were articles of speculation that he was sharing with MBS, Mohammed bin Salman, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, classified information. Which, by the way, I wouldn't be surprised by, because $2 billion isn't free. There's definitely some back and forth. I scratch your back, you scratch mine. Some pay-to-play stuff going on. We just got to figure out what the details of that pay-to-play are. In the case of Donald Trump, what they're pointing out here, he's got all these live golf tour events, this Saudi golf tour events, at his courses. How many tens of millions or hundreds of millions of dollars have the Saudis paid directly to Donald Trump? Also knowing, by the way, that he might be the next president of the United States again. And then that all ties back into the classified documents case, right? Why do you have those documents? Why were you hiding them? Why were you lying and saying you gave them all up when you didn't give them all up? Why is there evidence now of you were showing these documents to people at Mar-a-Lago? If you can connect all the dots and you find out him and Jared were getting paid by the Saudis got in return a bunch of stuff, including protection at the time from the Mohammed bin Salman, from the investigation into Mohammed bin Salman, not even a slap on the wrist over the Mohammed bin Salman thing. Multi-billion-dollar weapons deals being sent to them at the exact same time that they're committing a genocide in Yemen. Trump vetoing a bill that would have ended support for the Saudi genocide in Yemen. He served them time and time and time again. What else went on here? What else went on here? If you can prove that he showed them top secret classified information, that would be a game changer. But look, I say all of that to say this. Do I think that that stuff is going on? Oh, you bet your ass cheeks I do. Do I think it will be proven? Do I think it'll take down Trump? Harder to imagine that, because this dude politically has 9 lives. He has 9 lives. He's gotten his way out of everything ever before. And so you sort of just default to, I guess he's going to get out of this too, right? But if this guy does his job, if this guy knows what he's doing, if this guy can connect the dots and follow the money and figure it all out, then at the very least we may know the specifics of just how corrupt he is and exactly what's going on behind the scenes, which at the very least we deserve that. But this dude is as corrupt as they come, and he already violated the emoluments clause of the Constitution 1,000 times while he was president, and now he's rubbing the corruption in everybody else's face. And so I hope there's some comeuppance. I hope there's some semblance of justice. But look, I won't hold my breath for it. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.